All right, y'all. We are back. Rashad, what's up, big dog? You doing all right, buddy?
What's up, guys?
How we doing, man?
Good.
Glad to hear it. Did you pick up your $5 ticket to go to the game this weekend?
Hey, PSL owner, man. I already had mine.
That's true.
You could buy it for $5 and resell it for $6. I mean, you know.
I saw 45 cents.
You got.
Are you serious? That's not.
Yeah,
that's not
serious.
Good. Golly.
It's ugly out here.
You ain't wrong.
Might be willing to travel down to Charlotte for
I'm
45
trying to tell
cents, but I mean, as parking went down, that's the thing. So ticket prices, if parking's still the same, then you know, then you got a problem.
Very true.
Gonna be a home game for the Dirty Birds.
Can we just get a press pass just for parking?
Yes, we can actually.
This is just an idea. If they were playing somebody better, you know, I want to go see them play. How many people from that team will show up?
Yeah, Atlanta usually doesn't come over too much. Their fan base is kind of fickle too, so. But that Green Bay game, it's gonna be nasty work. A lot of green, a lot of gold.
See, Jordan Love is playing better, but he's not. He's not.
They
Aaron
still
Rodgers.
got a diehard fan base though, man. They're still locked in.
Tis the season. Season for what? For the Upstate Holiday Lights Show. Where's that? At their new location, District Park, at the intersection of 123 and 153. Millions of incredible Christmas.
Is that Jags game away?
Giant Christmas tree, a 600-foot long light tunnel, carnival ride.
If the Jags game was a home game,
That would be worse because 100%. It is at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
100% that stadium will be filled with locals who are rocking orange. That would be a Jacksonville home game because of Trevor.
but
That's
there may
true.
also be a bunch of long-haired people out there, you know, and I would be okay with that.
Bunch of long-haired people.
Yes. Like Rashad and I, not you, because you got your haircut.
I know, but look how good it looks. I can't help it.
I got to say, as far as hair goes on this show, especially when Rashad's on, you're number 3. I'm number 2.
Easily.
Yeah, but you're number 3 for
I
sure.
think there's a length, but there's a difference between length and quality. It's short.
So many jokes right there. I just
There really is.
Yeah,
I regret saying that. I do.
Yeah.
I regret
Pause.
saying that. That's getting clipped. I have no doubt. That's going to bite me in the ass.
see that was about 8/18/56.
Exactly.
Timestamp. Love
Yeah.
it.
The Rob Brown Show continues, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is the Fan Upstate every Thursday at 8:20, or when I stay on the clock, 8:19. We talk Carolina Panther football, and we do so with the host of the Panther Nation podcast, which you can find on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. But more importantly, make sure that you are subscribed to and you turn that bell on the Panther Nation podcast on YouTube. Rashad Beard's in the house. What's up, big fella?
What's up, guys? Another day, another L.
That's it's the optimism out of Rashad that keeps me coming back for more, man. I get it. Yeah, tough one on the road. You got.
Was it a tough one though? It's expected now, unfortunately.
It is. Well, here's the thing, Rashad. Let's actually break this game down. New Orleans didn't pull away until late. It took Olave being special. That's probably one of the few bright spots on that team. Jimmy Graham has played 4 snaps, it feels like, and he's got 4 touchdowns. He's at like 100% clip rate right now. But for 3.5 quarters, that game was that game. Derek Carr had like 60 yards of passing going into the fourth quarter. Y'all had over 200 yards of rushing in that game. I have said all season long, because the offense can't sustain drives, the defense is exhausted. It looked to me like a defense, Rashad, that if it could catch 3 minutes to throw the damn oxygen mask on, it might be all right.
That's been the season. That's been the tell of the story all season. Our defense has been okay. They've been solid. They hold up just enough into the fourth quarter, and then the offense can't sustain anything. They can't put up any points. And I mean, it's just amazing. Like, we just find new ways to lose. They couldn't. We were so bad in this Saints game that they didn't even know how to title our turnovers. Like, they were debating on whether it was a block punt or whether it was an interception or fumble. Like, that's what we've come to in Panther Nation. They don't even know how to title our turnovers. We create new ways to lose. And it's bad. I mean, you've got a lot of Panthers fans that are checked out. They don't want to watch anymore. And it's a bad product on the field. So credit to our defense. We've got up here, and I say it every week. Our defense holds on. Derek Brown is playing out of his mind. JC had a really nice pass breakup. He looks good. So if you want to look at any side of the football, it's that defense, because they continue to keep us in games. Offensively, not so much. It's just more. It's worse and worse every week. It's bad. We have a bad offensive product, and so it's not good.
All right, so let's start with, and there is one guy specifically that I want to get your thoughts on, and that is Terrace Marshall Jr. Even with guys being banged up, he has now been healthy scratched 4 times in a row. I've got to assume that, number one, TMJ's probably played his last Sunday snap as a member of the Carolina Panthers, but why? What is happening? Is it just a disconnect? Has he kind of hit the mark of, I'm so frustrated I can't do it? Like, do we know what's going on with that?
I don't know what's going on with Terrace Marshall, but coming into the season at training camp, Dave and I made a joke about Terrace Marshall, calling him wide receiver 5, because he wasn't getting many reps in the preseason. He wasn't being played, and you can tell as soon as we drafted Jonathan Mingo, we knew that Terrace Marshall's days were numbered, and he did request a trade. If you recall, right before the trade deadline, he requested a trade. Obviously, he's not going to find a trade partner. Just because he hasn't proven that he's been that good to be anything, right? And so I think that the argument for Terrace Marshall, for the pro Terrace Marshall folks, is that you can see what Terrace Marshall did under Steve Wilks. Under Steve Wilks, he had a resurgence. He had like 500-something receiving yards as soon as Wilks was named head coach, or interim head coach. And so you look back, you kind of say, hey, we can build off of something here. He started to look okay. And then we drafted Jonathan Mingo, and that ended all of that. I mean, there's no room for him. You got Adam Thielen, you got DJ Chark. There's just no room for a Terrace Marshall. So being inactive, they're trying to develop Jonathan Mingo, and I think Jonathan Mingo is the future. Terrace Marshall is not, and that's the bottom line. I would have thought that, the Bengals, you send them up there with Joe Burrow, get them back connected, because he was on the national championship team with Jamar Chase and all those great players. He was on that squad. And so I thought that maybe the Bengals would have wanted to trade for him. Not the case. And maybe he may reunite with them in the offseason.
Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. We saw Peter King put out in his Monday morning column a warning to any future head coaches. He basically said, hey, if you think you are going to be successful and you think you can have a successful HC career at this level, pass on this job, right? Red lights, warning signs, alarms going off, pass on this gig. Peter King's a pretty respectable name in the game right now. So for him to put out something like that, you and I talked last week, I think you've almost kind of been obligated now, forced to go experimental. You gotta try to find your own Mike McDaniel at this point and just hope that you stumble in the right guy. When you've got a voice in the game like Peter King's, telling future candidates, avoid this job, wait a year for another one to come open if you don't get one in this round. Golly, that's a tough look.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. Not only that, I mean, you've got our own staffers texting Ben Johnson to say, hey, allegedly, according to Joe Person, the Athletic article, hey, don't come here. Like, you gotta, this guy, man, it's tough over here. So, I mean, that it's bad. I think that I know we will get a coach. Obviously, there is someone out there that will take this job. And I think, you're going to have to overcompensate. You're going to have to pay, which we don't really care how much he's paid because there's no coach salary cap for coaches, right? So you can pay whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, when you're analyzing jobs, when I'm looking at jobs, I'm a head coach. I'm looking at, number one, who's my quarterback? Or can I get a quarterback? Where do we sit in the draft to get me a quarterback? So I want to get my own guy. But in this situation, hey, I'm forced to work with Bryce Young, right? Bryce Young is my only choice. I can't go out there and get the guy I want because I'm forced to work with Bryce. Maybe I don't want to work with Bryce. Maybe that's not who I want to work with. So that may limit some candidates, right? And then not only that, you have to take a look at the ownership, right? What has the ownership done prior to me getting here? I fired guys within 10 months. I'm so just I do anything at my own whim. Whenever I feel like doing it, I'll cut a guy. So it's just a tough situation for the Carolina Panthers. Hence my shirt here to say David Tepper step back. David Tepper has to step back, man. Like, that's the bottom line. He's got to find the right guy. Hopefully we can get the right guy in this next round of coaching hires, and then just fall back and let these guys go to work.
I am Rashad. I'm a fan of the show Ted Lasso. All right, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a good show, and there's a speech towards the end of it where he says, "I hope that all of us or none of us are judged not by our actions, but what we do if we get a second chance." And basically says that people are given second chances. Some get better, some don't. To me, and we've talked about this at length, and I think the Peter King article kind of drove this home, Rashad. This team only gets better if David Tepper, and at this point, I don't even think it's conjecture anymore. I think I can say it with an air of fact about it. This team only gets better if Tepper steps back and lets the football guys take over. And when you've got a staff underneath you that seems as divided, not just in half, but like in a bunch of different cliques around the whole staff, you can't fix that, man. Like, you can't fix, or at least not immediately. And my fear is that Tep's going to overmanage his overmanagement that got us here. And if that's the case, man, you're screwed, dude. You're screwed. That's just it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just hopeful that, and again, I've been pounding the table for this Jed York moment, and he didn't have it during his press conference. He didn't have the "you can't fire the owner" moment, and owning up to it and saying, "Hey, I'm going to get the right guys in here, and I'm going to step back." Like, he didn't have that moment, but hopefully he can have the moment in action, right? The hope is that he gets a GM. Like, he's got a clean house at this point because of what you're saying, right? You've got these different factions and Hunger Games mantra where, you got different cliques, trying to save themselves. And so we've got a clean house. We've got to get the right group of people in here and let those people pick their people so that they're all on the same page, right? When you're forcing a coach you're saying, hey, hire diverse guys, hire these guys you never worked with before, and then they go into business for themselves, you can't be surprised, right? And so you got to let these people do their jobs. David Tepper, please hire the right people. Hire some people to help you hire the right people. Get those people in the building and let them go to work and just fall back. Like, give them time to actually implement what they want to do. And you just got to step back. You got to step back. You got to.
I saw the reports that started that the Patriots have reached a decision that Bill Belichick is out. And I saw a bunch of Panther fans, not a ton, but a bunch of Panther fans saying, let's go get this guy, right? He's the GOAT NFL coach. And now we can even put aside the was it Belichick or was it Brady debate. It was Brady, but we'll have that debate a different day. Bill Belichick and David Tepper, if you brought him down, and you're not going to, but if you did, they might actually kill each other. Right? Like, they might actually murder each other because neither one of those guys is going to be the one that steps out of the way. And I don't think many other well-founded head coaching prospects would be any different. That's why I keep saying whether or not Tep steps back, the reality is Carolina has backed themselves into a corner where you're going to have to get weird with the hire and just hope you win a lottery ticket, man.
Yeah, an interesting thing with Bill. I think, though, with Bill, Bill will get the respect from David Tepper because of what he's done in New England. Like, so I think if he were to hire Bill Belichick, I think he would fall back. But the problem is Bill Belichick has a terrible draft record, right? And then outside of his time with Tom Brady, it's not very good, right? And so are you really getting what you want out of Bill Belichick? I mean, of course the culture is going to be great. Of course we heard Cam Newton say wondrous things about Bill Belichick. And so but I don't know if it's going to get the results you want on the field with Bill Belichick. The results outside of Tom Brady are not good, right? It's not. And the guy's drafting ability, look at what he's doing up there in the wind. They're just as bad as we are right now.
You know, I hear all that, but isn't it better than what the Panthers are right now? I mean, the Patriots are
slightly. I mean, like not
percentage wise, it's a lot though. I mean,
they're like 2 picks behind us. They're not good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the jump you're looking for.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Well, let Belichick be the the guy before the next guy.
Look, he's not going to be, because he's going to want 100% full control, and Tep can't do that. He cannot do that. He doesn't know how to. That L this weekend against New Orleans, you talked about offense. I would put out there, with over 200 rushing yards against New Orleans, the foundation appears to be there, Rashad. And it's like, well, let me just phrase it the way I asked it on Monday. When you got an offense that's cutting you up, that's cutting up New Orleans defense, why did all of the sudden Thomas Brown and the offense decide we need to start running 5 wide 9s down the sideline and just see if we can spray and pray 40-yard passes? Why were you not playing with a pass game that worked with a run game? Why were you breaking away from a run game that was gashing and asking Bryce to throw 40-yard passes behind an offensive line that gives him less than a second and a half of protection per play?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Did it frustrate you the same way in like watching it as it did me?
Yeah. Well, you couldn't have been frustrated because you were happy to see that based on the team you root for. But listen, I just listen. The Thomas Brown situation, it is what it is there. I don't think we have an offensive coach on the roster right now or on the coaching staff that's going to still remain. So I'm not really looking for any bright things from the offense. It just is what it is, man. I'm ready to get this season over with. It is very frustrating. And to Thomas Brown's credit, though, a couple of those passes were there. The Jonathan Mingo, when he was running 3 yards ahead of the guy and Bryce overthrows him, like those are the ones you got to get. I get it. He doesn't quite trust his offensive line. There's a lot of bad things going on with the Carolina Panthers. It's frustrating. Across the board, the offensive line is frustrating. And listen, here's the deal. We saw the offensive line do well. We've seen us run the football successfully going back to Wilkes. We went away from that at the beginning of the year. We got back to it now. We can run the football successfully. We've seen it. The past couple of years, we've seen that. The problem is now you got a quarterback and you want to see him pass the football. You got a nice, bright, shiny toy in Bryce Young, and you want to see him use it. So now we've got to throw the football. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mess. It's a mess. So now that's another hurdle. That's another hurdle you got to find a coach, an offensive-minded coach that can work within the guys that we have, the personnel. It's just a mess. It's a mess, dude. A complete mess.
I got to tell you, in the year and a half we've been having Rashad on, I think that's the first time I've seen him just throw the hands up and sit back in the chair like I'm over it. Real quick, we got another minute or two with Rashad. Did you see the tweet going around from Thomas Brown's wife, right? So his wife, Jessica, puts up a tweet in response to a fan who said, I think, and I'm paraphrasing, but close, no cap, Thomas Brown's got to go at the end of the year. And she wrote, "We're already fired. We're already gone, but somebody's got to stick around and call the plays. If you know anybody else who can do it, call Tep and let them know so we can move on." Again, paraphrasing, not quoting there. But I saw that. And basically, Rashad, I've been hanging on. I don't care if the Panthers don't win another game. Just show me improvement, show me steadiness, show me some constitution amongst the coaching staff and this team and the players moving forward. Dude, I think that's the moment when I read that tweet that I went, yeah, nothing matters this year. Nothing matters. Nothing matters the rest of this year, because if you've got offensive coordinators' wives out there blowing up fans going, we're already fired, we don't care anymore, my man, there's nothing to salvage here, dude.
Yeah, it's done, and that's a great point. Seeing that is like, hey, they're gone. You know what I mean? So like, there's no point in what are we even looking for, because the next guy's going to come in and revamp the entire offense again. So there's no point in. I mean, you can look at some micro things like, the buzzword of the day, Bryce Young's footwork. Is his footwork getting better? You can look for things like that, but outside of that, there's really nothing. I mean, you can look at some chemistry issues. Can Mingo connect with Bryce? But outside of that, man, there's nothing else to see here. We're done. It's nothing else. Looking forward to next year. Get the coach in here. Let's see what else we can build.
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
All right. So people want to know where they can get the shirt.
I have a link. I can put it in the chat. I gotta get it.
Throw it in the chat. Send it to me in a tweet. I'll put it out to the Armada coming up in a little while.
Yeah, I think I want one
because it's a dope shirt.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
It's a cool shirt.
I don't hate it.
Well, it's a sad shirt, but at the same time,
it's sad.
Yeah,
but it's the state that we're in.
Yeah, it 100% is. Yeah, I'm at a point now when I saw that tweet, it was kind of the moment of, okay, like that's nail in the coffin on the 2023 season. You're not, well, I was hoping maybe you snag a shock victory somewhere. Maybe you have a game where BY has that breakout 280-yard, 2-touchdown day, and you go, there it is. That's the flash. We're waiting for the flash. But it is, and to finish up the thought, and then I'll let you respond before we let you go, Rashad. The other aspect I have is I could not feel worse for Bryce, because when you have got a coaching staff that's got wives out there saying, we're already fired, we're already out, that is texting the biggest name left on the board to be the coach next year saying, don't come here, et cetera, et cetera. When all that's happening, there's no Tinder for Bryce Young to use to have that flash, right? Like, it's so inept at the base that there is nothing for him to latch onto and have that breakout CJ Stroud game we've been waiting on. And that sucks for him more than anybody else, dude.
Yeah, I got a very short response to that. Starts at the top, man. We get that fixed and everything else will fall into place. That's it. I mean, there's nothing else to look forward to until we get the right guys in the building. And that's the biggest concern right now is, are we going to get the right guys in the building that are going to help develop Bryce Young? Because I have not given up on Bryce, for the record. I think Bryce is still got something. You can see some small, bright spots in his game. Like when we do see him, the wide receivers drop the football. And so it's always something, right? If the wide receivers are open, he misses, and when he drops a dime, they drop the football. So it's a mess, but we got to get the right guys in the building, and it starts at the top.
Come back next week when Rashad joins us on Thursday, and we're probably just going to talk like video games and movies the whole time, because that's it. Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. Make sure you are searching and subscribing to and turning notifications on for the Panther Nation podcast on YouTube. You guys going to do anything other than just turn the cameras on and blank stare into them for a couple hours this week?
Yeah, but I'm probably going to go live. I don't know. Because it's going to rain on Sunday, so I don't know if I'm going to go to the game or not. I don't know if it's worth my time, to be honest with you. So I may live stream it. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, notification bell. Tickets are like $250 right now, so including fees. Including ticket. Yeah, Ticketmaster's actually paying you to take them at this point. Rashad, my man, sorry, buddy. We're gonna keep doing the interview until Rashad calls me and goes, I'm done. Yep, that's it. Gotta keep doing it. There it is. All right, big dog. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it. All right, have a good one. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, again on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. You can also make sure you are subscribed to their YouTube channel at Panther Nation Podcast. For those of you that have joined us from the PNP Army, stay tuned. Go to our Facebook page, The Fan Upstate, our YouTube page, The Rob Brown Show. Subscribe to that. We're going to keep this bad boy going. Emily Adams up next to talk Gamecocks. We got Mike Newton, head coach of the Clemson Tiger national championship winning soccer team at 9. Fight Club, MMA, boxing, and pro wrestling at 9:20. And we wrap it up with Twitter trending topics on the way out the door on The Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Already looked up the shirt. I might be getting that payday.
It's a good shirt.
It's 25.
I've spent dumber money on other things.
With sizes up to 5XL. So I'm good.
Rare Species says Bryce is a bust. Stop it. Man, like I said, if you asked me to win a NASCAR race in a 2022 Honda Accord, it can't be done. I don't care how good of a driver you are. If the equipment under you isn't good enough to win, you can't win.